Hello, I'm Marilyn, and I'm talking to you from my store in Naples, Florida. And by popular demand, I'm excited to tell you, we are doing a second scarf video because our best scarf video did very well. And one of the reasons when I look at a video, I say, well, I'm not going to give you a whole bunch of different ties on scarves. I'm going to show you how you actually use these different scarves and how the shape of it and how the texture and the composition of it make a lot of difference in how you're going to use it. One of the things we are not going to talk about is the very small square, because I get asked this at my store all the time. The very small square is really something that's used like a tie, like a man's tie. It usually ties close around the neck, or it will be used for other reasons. Maybe you're cold. But basically, in that particular case, I prefer you to use a piece of jewelry or accessorize earrings. So we don't sell the really small squares in the store. But what we do is we sell really wonderful scarves. And we get most of them from Lake Como from a friend of mine, Eugene, who's a really nice guy and also makes our scarves for us here too under our name. So what I'd like to do is show you what you need to know. And I thought the best way to start out was with the square. Now those of you who have not watched the first best video is that the pattern is gorgeous on this, but it's not the basic thing you should be thinking about. You should be thinking about the combination and how it will look when you put it against what you're wearing. This is what's called a tissue scarf. Usually these are made of modal. Modal is a wood pulp of beech, and it's the higher end of the viscosa lines. It's also done with silk, and it gives us this real tissue-y. I like this one particularly. Now this is how we do our squares. We make them triangles right away. And for down in places, you know, I thought only Naples we were cold in restaurants, but I understand in other places too. It's always a nice shape because you can use it to keep yourself warm. You don't really need a lot with this because it really works like a shell. Or one of my favorite, I always say when they go back up, is this tie, which you can do like this. This is how I would do it on this blouse. Here, isn't she good? And do a little twitch. Do not do anything after that. Now what I've done is I've pulled this all together and it really changed the outfit. I can't tell you how many times I see people come into my store with a plain top on and a plain bottom, and I want to run over and get a scarf that accentuates the colors of their face, if they're a warm or a cool tone, and the whole outfit just bounces out. This is a rectangular scarf, but I've pulled this particular one because if you notice it has the half red and the half white in the design, and it really turns out to be interesting when you're doing it. We have this on a few of our scarves here, and I really like it. Okay, when I do this, we're going to just use one tie. Now there it's very white, but it looks really pretty. And when you tie this a few different ways, I'll do it a second one, I can show you how I can change it. But it's really nice to have that dimension. So you're not just working with a design flowing into it, you're saying, okay, this is really a different color. Gives you a little more to work with. There you go. See what I mean? And these are fun to work with in the rectangle. I like the rectangle. This is our store scarf, and I know you've seen this because we sell these on our online shop on the web. But this one is really this is 100% silk. And usually on the silks, you don't want to get too big on a silk, whether it be a square or a rectangle, because silk slides, and on most of you that. So you're going to need to tie it somehow or have some kind of a format. This one I have used, so if I were to use this in a restaurant as a shawl, this is going to slide all over when you're eating. So probably the first thing you're going to have to do is tie it and stabilize it on 100% silk. That's the only disadvantage to silk. But there are a lot of advantages to it. First of all, it takes color very, very well. So a lot of times you want it because of the color. And this is the polished type silk. The other thing I want to give you a little bit of an experience with, because we've started to get more into the silk crepe. And I love that because we get a lot of people here with dressier things and they're beautiful sleeveless things and they need something to cover their arms. I'm just learning really a lot of good things how to work it. The colors are vibrant in the crepe, and also it gives a very, very dressy look on something when you put it on a dress. So I would explore this, and I use it a lot of times with dresses that are for mother, the bride, or that type of thing to cover up the arms. Also, I wanted to mention before, when we have linen, the linen is a little stiffer. This is linen and modal. This scarf was a different, that's also the linen. This can give you a stiffer look a lot of times. I like linens with linens. That's fun. So don't be afraid to use a linen. The texture will make a big difference because a lot of time you have a really plain texture on what you're wearing with all those Ralph Lauren plain colors. And you might want something with a little texture, not just a silky look to it in a print. It gets to be a little too dramatic. I just want to mention the crepe. This is not so much dressy on this particular one. This is the sarong, which is used, and this is the huge rectangle. I still use these, even though they're terribly large, and they are really made to wrap for bathing suits and things like that. I still find this an interesting look when you're using it, to use it around your neck or as a shawl. It's very uneven, it's not controllable, and I think that's what makes it so really interesting. It's really big, so you can use it. It has a lot of fun looks to it. So it's really large. You can take a real long statement, and it really looks nice with longer blouses. Unfortunately, people who are comfortable with scarves are not born. They must be trained. So what we have on our website is we have the little girl's training scarf. This is the hanger. The little scarves come with it, and they can practice their different ties. So this is a suggestion that I do. We also are selling our named Marilyn scarf online, and we will be selling more of the ones that you've seen today online coming in the fall season.